Hi Ravi sir and Zaheer sir. This is Vishesh from NDTV. My question to you, both of you, would be that Umran Malik has been named in the T20I squad. So, do you think an express stairway pacer should be included in India's T20I squad going forward in the build up to the 2024 World Cup?
Yes, definitely. I think uh, that variety in your pace attack is a must. You've seen teams usually follow that kind of a pattern. You need a left armer, you need someone who can swing the ball, you need someone who can be out and out pace. If everything is in one package, then it's even better. But if not, then you would like to use the variety in your bowling lineup and use the different conditions by approaching that way. Umran has been a very exciting talent. There is no doubt about it, and this kind of exposure at this level is definitely going to help him. It's about how he takes up things forward and how quickly he learns at this stage is going to be very crucial if he has to grab that spot in the playing 11 consistently and cement his place.
Just adding to what Zaheer said, he mentioned pace. He's the fastest bowler, one of the fastest bowlers in India. You saw what happened in the World Cup, where genuine pace rattled opposition, whether it was Haris Rauf from Pakistan or Naseem Shah, or whether it was, for Australia, you had some of the fastest. Enric Nokia playing for South Africa. What he did, he ended up being one of the highest wicket takers in the tournament. So there's no substitute for genuine pace, even when you're defending small scores. So this is an opportunity for him, and hopefully he'll learn from this exposure.
Thank you. I see Niharika.
Good morning to both of you. I am Niharika Rana from INS. My question for both of you is, of late, there seems to be a contrast in approach to T20 cricket between England and other teams in the world. So from both of you, I want to know what are the areas you see for this Indian team to, improve and catch up with the England team?
Well, I think with regard to the approach, you got to play conditions as well. It's raining right now here. Tomorrow it might not be raining. It will be windy. You got to adjust to the conditions, adapt to the conditions as soon as possible. And every pitch is different. Every country you tour to is going to be different. So I think what matters is that communication within the squad as the game starts or leading up to the game is something which is going to be important. Yes, you do have the style of play which you decide, the brand of cricket which you are going to be playing. But more than that, I think you need to be proactive in understanding the conditions and planning for different venues and pitches.
Thank you. Aditya Bhattacharya.
Yeah, hi Ravi sir, Zach. My question to you is, it's pretty evident that India is transitioning towards the next generation of cricketers taking command. VVS Lakshman, recently in the press conference said that going forward in T20s, we would see more T20 specialists. So contrary to what has happened in the last year and a half, when the senior guys were not playing, only then were the youngsters getting a chance. Is this a possibility that we could see more of the youngsters getting chance in T20s rather than the guys who've been around for a while?
I think that's the way forward. I think VVS is right. They'll identify specialists, and especially with youngsters, because going forward, that should be the mantra. 2 years from now, identify and make that Indian team into a terrific fielding side, and of course identify roles for these youngsters who could be fearless and go out there and play that kind of cricket without any baggage whatsoever.
Thank you. Amlan.
Yeah, hi, this is Amlan from Reuters. My question is to both of you. Looking at the success of someone like Alex Hales, do you think that the BCCI should probably let their players play in T20 leagues abroad so that they get better understanding about the climates and the conditions there?
Well, I feel there are a lot of processes in place. It's not about playing only the franchise cricket. It's about going to different countries to learn things. I think that is something which is important, and you've seen with BCCI with their shadow tours. I think that process is well in place. I don't see any other reason right now for players to go and play in a particular tournament. I think what you have domestically right now is also a robust structure. So why depend on others? I think we have more than more than enough means for producing good players. And you look at our bench strength as well. I think that's a classic example of seeing things. You can virtually play 3 lineups, and they will be able to compete at any level. So I think we should focus on that, focus on our country rather than looking at outside.
I think I agree with Zach totally. There's enough domestic cricket for all these players to get absorbed in the system and get an opportunity. Plus, you get these India A tours, you get a lot of these other tours, where at one given time you might have 2 Indian teams playing in the future, where the opportunity will come for the other lot to go somewhere else whilst India is in another country to go play and see what they can do. So I think there's no need. This is they're absolutely fine playing IPL cricket and focusing on domestic cricket. We need them to play domestic cricket in India as well.
Thank you. Rahul?
Ravi bhai, hi, Rahul Rawat here from Aaj Tak India today.
Well, Rahul,
look, we've been, in fact,
Rahul Dravid.
Rahul Rawat, not Dravid.
Acha, Rahul.
Not Dravid, Ravi bhai.
Acha, Rahul Rawat. Haan, bolo.
Yeah, Ravi bhai, even the current team management had been talking about change in approach and change in template as far as the T20 cricket is concerned. Is it so simple to change the approach, or do you need to change the players? I'm not talking about not necessarily that you have to get rid of the players who are currently playing, but what has changed since the current regime took over from you and Virat in terms of coaching and the captain, if you have to point out?
I wouldn't like to go there or point out anything, but there's an opportunity with this team in the future to do exactly like what you're saying. Identifying roles for players, identifying match winners, and going pretty much on the template of England, because they are one team that really caught the bull by the horns after the 2016 World Cup, and they went and they sat down and said, we are going to change our resources. And we are going to identify the best players for that format of the game, whether it's T20 or 50 over cricket. And which meant if there were certain senior players who had to sit out, so be it. And they got in youngsters who were fearless, who could adapt to that pattern of the game without having to change their games too much. So, it's a template that can be followed easily. India has got a wealth of resources. And I think it can start now from this tour, because when you look at this team, it's a fresh young side. You can identify and you can groom and you can take this team ahead in 2 years' time.
Thank you. We have about time for a few more questions, 2 more questions. So I'm going to Gomesh.
Thank you. Hi to both of you. I'm sorry if this has been asked before. So I just wanted to ask if, following up on what Ravi sir just spoke, could this be the starting point of perhaps looking at having some multiple captains based on formats or multiple coaches based on formats for India? Do you think it will be a good idea to work it out at this point in time in Indian cricket?
There are already multiple captains. I think when you're talking about for T20 right now, you have Hardik leading the side. You have Shikhar then for ODIs. Rohit has been there. Virat have been there. You look at this playing 11 which was there part of the World Cup. There are so many captains which were there part of the squad. Rishabh has captained. So all these players are more than capable. It's just about the planning, right now, depending on the scheduling and planning, depending on the workload management, you've been seeing these changes. So I think as we speak, these processes are already in place.
And I think for T20 cricket, there's no harm in having a new captain, because the volume of cricket is such. For one player to play all 3 formats of the game is never going to be easy. So, it will take, if Rohit is already leading in one days and test matches, there's no harm in identifying a new T20 captain. And if his name is Hardik Pandya, so be it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last question.
Well, actually, that was my question. Yeah, that was my question. If both of them, they see Hardik Pandya as the future T20 captain. Ravi, just one more question to add. You were with this team as head coach for quite a long time. Now the support staff is also taking breaks, as in, are they also having a workload management? But because I don't remember when you were there.
Very good question. I don't believe in breaks. because I want to understand my team, I want to understand my players, and I want to then be in control of that team. These breaks, I mean, what do you need breaks for, that many breaks, to be honest? You get your 2-3 months of the IPL, that's enough for you to rest, as a coach. But other times, I think a coach should be hands-on, whoever he is.
Thank you. Ankit? Ankit, you'll have to unmute yourself. You're the last question for the day.
Hi everyone. Ankit here from Jharkhand. First of all, I would like to ask Ravi bhai, after back-to-back failed campaigns in T20 World Cup for India, what do you think is missing from the current T20 setup, and how do you think they should prepare for the next showpiece event?
I mean, as they've picked the team now, it's fresh talent, it's young talent, it's a new captain at the helm. It's the way to go forward. Teams have to evolve, after setbacks. You got to learn from your setbacks rather than, keep brooding over it. And I think when I see this young team that will step onto the park tomorrow, in this series, I think it's a unit that has a lot of talent, plenty of match winners. It's up to the boys now to, catch the bull by the horns, grab that opportunity, and make the most of it.
Yeah, and one from Zaheer. What's your pick for the India's playing 11 for the first T20I? And who do you think will be the key bowler for India, especially the pace attack?
Well, I think rather than getting into the playing 11, I will just summarize in terms of the approach. There's definitely going to be 4-seam options should be available. I think looking at the conditions and over the years, whatever we've seen in New Zealand conditions, most of the pitches will assist fast bowling. And that should be the base thought process. So you pick the 5 bowlers, but maybe the 4 seamers are going to be a must-have in your lineup, and how you're going to plan with the new ball while batting is something which is going to be of topmost priority. You got to consolidate at the top, not just focus on playing the format, but also understanding the conditions and understanding what is going to be the power total on a particular pitch as quickly as possible to set the target.
Any favorite from you?
Well, I think the youngster Umran will be a good exposure for him. So looking at this tour, looking at the conditions and how it can really groom you as a bowler, Umran is someone who's got a great opportunity in hand through this tour.